What is going on, everybody, and welcome back. So in this one I hope to finish up the methanol injection setup, which, if you guys are not familiar, there's other videos that you guys could go check out, and I should probably link some other parts of this video in the description. I'll try to put some links if I remember, but anyway, this is where we're at right now. Currently I have the pump installed for the methanol injection. That is over here on the side, inside of the wheel well area here. I have it screwed in there with 3 screws. No need for 4, but 3 is just the right amount, I think. And then I have the cable comes from the other side, and it's going to pull from this washer fluid jug over here, which is set up with a 90-degree fitting that I got and installed, which is an 1/8 inch NPT. And it goes over to here. I think you're supposed to have special methanol resistant tape or thread locker or something, but I think that I'm not using straight methanol, so hopefully it's okay. Maybe it will leak, and at the end of the day it's just washer fluid, so it's not like the end of the world. If it leaks, maybe I'll address it someday, but for right now we're going to try just regular old thread locker. Teflon tape is what we're going to use. So that's what we're using. I'll let you guys know how it works. This is the level sensor that I installed. So basically this guy is hooked to an LED inside. I want to test that and see if that works. And I want to test the pump too before I install the controller, just to make sure that everything works. So I'll show you guys that process. But basically I have the regular washer fluid sprayer here with a hose. I still have some other hose that I want to hook up so I can get the factory sprayers to work, because I haven't had washer fluid in this car in a long time, and I ripped all the hoses out of there, so I'd like to get that all straightened out so I can use those. And also, like I said, I have this hooked up to an indicator, so basically it runs inside to light up the LED. So you guys can watch the previous video if you're interested in that. I thought it was pretty cool the way I used resistors to light up the LED, so we didn't blow it out with 12 volts, and we just sent it down on a line, and this sensor is grounded on one side, and the other side runs to our LED, which is fed from the other side. So it basically pulls a ground through this switch if the switch is reading reading as a closed switch. But when it's open, as in the little float in here is up high, as when the switch will read OL, it won't make a ground through the switch, and then I will not have the light on in the dash. So that's my low level sensor. Go check that video out. It was pretty cool stuff. Anyway, enough with the plugs. The hose comes over here, goes to the pump. The pump runs this hopefully off of the controller that's going to be inside, and I'll be able to set the pressure on it. But yeah, the hose runs over here to the pump, and then the hose comes up through the wheel well up and over here, where the hose runs into this little solenoid here, which I hooked up in line with the pump power. So when the pump gets power, this guy over here gets fed as well, this solenoid, and has a ground over here. Also, I grounded it exactly where I grounded the horn for my remote start. So if the horn for the remote start doesn't work, then I know this solenoid is not going to work and my meth isn't going to work. So I have it sharing a ground. So I think that was a decent idea, as like a fail-safe to know if this solenoid's working or not. Even though that's kind of stupid, it'll probably never fail. But anyway, just something I was thinking when I was doing it. But this hose here, I just hooked up to one of the nozzles, which is actually the nozzle off of, let me just put it up here so I can get it easier. So this is actually the smaller nozzle that came with the kit that I bought, and I didn't want to put this one in it. I wanted to use the one big nozzle. The kit that I bought had like a mass airflow of a Corvette, and it had both of these nozzles in it, so they obviously had 2, but I'm not going to do 2. I just want to do the one nozzle. So what I did was I epoxied it into a hole in this ring, which I put on the rubber section of the coupler, where it's just in between the throttle body and the actual pipe itself, and then I bolted it all on, so everything's nice and tight over here. It's a little loosey-goosey here, but it's not hitting on anything, so pretty happy with how all this piping came out. I just got to run my vacuum line back up to here if I can reach. And put this guy on here. I have to do that a little better later. But I just gotta run this to the actual nozzle. But I'd like to test it first. So I'm gonna put this in a bottle, and we're gonna see if I can get it to spray and look decent. And then I'll know that the pump is functioning. So all I really have to do is go in there and touch this power wire to power, and it should spray. So I'll probably set up the camera out here and touch that wire, and we'll see if the pump comes to life and comes online. So yeah, pretty cool. I just got to hook up this controller inside of the car. I got to find out if I want to put it off of ignition voltage, and I got to see how many amps it needs to draw and where I should draw from. Maybe I should use like a add a fuse or something like that so that it's fused. I think that would be a decent idea from wherever I get power from. I don't know if I want to go directly off the battery or anything. Right off battery voltage. I don't know if this unit will drain. I doubt it. I'm just going to look up the schematic on what they want. They may want a power. Yeah, maybe they'll want like a power and a remote turn on kind of lead here. Yeah, it doesn't say on the cable, but I'm going to look up a schematic. So I figure first it's probably a good idea for me to show you my little indicator here. And of course I gotta go find my keys. But once I find them, I'll show you my little low indicator, and then I can show you when I power this thing on. Once I do that to test it out. Alright, so I got my keys. Let's see how crazy bright this thing is. There we go. Nice red light. Now I'm gonna go fill the jug. Or at least put some in it. Alright, so we're slightly above the level sensor. Nice. Good time for the system to connect. It looks like it's working. The level sensor's up and the light's off, so that's awesome. That's great. Oh, I'm excited. Now we just got to see if this works, and we got to spray it into a cup. So I'm gonna get that going in a second. We can also check if the regular washer fluid sprays too. I can put that in a cup, make sure that pump works before I get the rest of my stuff. I think my stuff got delivered to run it up there. It's gonna get delivered tonight, so we might see that washer fluid hose, and I can run it to the sprayers and try out the washer fluid on the windshield. That'll be pretty sweet. Anyway, yeah, I am one step closer. So our level sensor works, and it looks like we still don't have any leaks. Now I just gotta see, is the washer fluid gonna get down here? You know, is it gonna go to this side and to the pump? And is it gonna be able to go there? Because I'm really worried about that now. I didn't even think about that. So I don't know. It's not really gravity because it goes uphill at the end, so I'm kind of concerned. Why don't I think of these things? Maybe I need to put, I don't know. Either I put like a little lift pump in there to pump, but then it's got to have to keep up with that thing, or have like a bypass. I don't know. I guess I got to do some research. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to try it and see if it works. If it works, wonderful. If not, we're going to have to figure it out, because I guess, I don't think of everything. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe some of you guys know how it works, but fluid dynamics, I'm not really sure. Anyway, I'm going to proceed to find a bucket and try to prime this thing. We'll see if we can get it to work. Alright guys, so this kind of turned into a whole different direction that we're headed. So I tried to key it on, and I heard the solenoid clicking on and off, so I knew I had power on that line. I pretty much knew I was in trouble right then and there when I didn't hear the pump come on. But a few more steps I tried. The light was coming on the dash too perfectly, and the pump just did not come on. And unfortunately, I had to unmount the pump, and I decided I'd take it apart and see why it's not coming on. I powered it up with a jump box, didn't come on. So I took the bottom off and found out that the motor's locked up. So it's got an electric motor in here and totally seized. So it's all rusty in there, and most people, they'd probably cut their losses, but you know, I'm cheap and willing to try to find a solution to every problem, and I think I can maybe fix this. If I could just get it apart, I can probably sand everything inside and see if I can get it to spin again, and then maybe we can have this motor work once again. So it does look like it's definitely seized, but this is only the motor section. This is not supposed to get wet, but it looks like it was left outside, which I'm going to do as well. So it's only fitting, you know, take a nice rusty pump and put it in my car to run outside as well. But as long as I can get it unlocked, unseized, I should be able to make it work again, I would hope, because everything looks okay here. The brushes look good, and the cabling to them, and this spring's a little bit corroded over here. I guess we'll just have to see. I may have to clean that up too. That's on one of the sides there, but I'll try to waterproof this thing now that I have it apart. When I put it back together, I'm going to try to use some sort of sealant around the edges here and just do my best to make this thing a bit more watertight than it was, because obviously water got in here. Yeah, so I'm going to try to yank this thing apart from the other side and fix this. So now this video is turned into methanol injection pump restoration. So we're going to try to fix this pump now. Alright, so I should have taken a before video, but this section here of the motor, this thing was totally frozen solid. I couldn't move it. It moved with this plate here. It was stuck to this plate. So I just kind of sprayed it down with WD-40 and I wiggled it, and like it was like little movements like this. And then I just kept getting more out of it. And then it would start to bind, and I would get more, and I would get more, and I just kept going back and forth, and eventually I got it to spin pretty good. And then it would spin almost freely, and now this thing's spinning, and you can see this is how it makes pressure. It spins and pushes these three things, which pushes on the pieces on the back side of this, and that's going to make our pressure. It's going to suck from one side and push on the other side and something like that. I don't really know how it works exactly, but anyway, these are the magnets in here. I got to just probably take these magnets out, clean them up, stick them back in. I'll clean up all the stuff on here, and it looks to me like we freed this guy up, so the only thing that's going to help us out is running it more. So I may just put it back together real quick, power it up, see, and make sure it runs, and then we can put it together all waterproof, and we'll run it, and hopefully it doesn't seize on us, because that would suck. But it seems like the more I use it, the better it's getting. So if I clean it up, I think we should be good to go. Oh yeah, it's starting to free up. It may be a little noisy because the bearings are a little shot, but I definitely freed it up. This actually spins with 2 fingers now. I couldn't even spin this thing with my hand. I was using all my might, couldn't spin it. I wish I showed you guys how hard it was for me to spin before. Impossible. So really brought this thing back to life. Looks like we might have saved it. I'm excited now. This is going to be cool. I'm just going to keep spinning this thing, loosening it up. Hopefully the WD-40 is okay for everything. I don't really know, but I figure we got nothing to lose. This thing was toast anyway, so if I can revive it, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm going to clean everything up now, and I think it's worth cleaning. The other way kind of makes it a little bit grindy. And no, it's doing good. A little bit of binding here and there, but overall, I'm happy. Alright guys, so it has been some time. Yeah, it's been quite a while. My bad. I've been busy, but just not making videos. You know, at times I get a little bit discouraged because I feel like what I'm doing is not what you guys want to see, but I gotta just make videos on it anyway. I gotta put it out there because I know some of you guys do want to see it, and hopefully at some point everybody will enjoy everything. And I think maybe I really gotta stick to the vlogs because I just do a lot of different stuff, and I'm not always working on the Honda. And I know that's what a lot of people want to see, so I just don't put in any effort to making a video if nobody's gonna watch it. But that's not the right attitude, and I should do more to try to do that. But I'm gonna just give a project update on everything, and you know, try to just debrief and you guys know what's going on, and then I'll hopefully resume making some videos. I would like to get back into it. So I got a big mess here. Don't mind all the mess I gotta clean up, but this is the motor that I freed up. Still got it right here. Haven't put it back together yet. Hopefully I can remember how it goes back together. It's been a while, but still want to clean it up a little bit. I found some parts at the junkyard last week. Got a visor. That's not ripped, and a nice shift lever too, or my bad, e-brake lever. That's not all gummed up, so I should be able to clean that, put that in. So that's cool. That's all for the Honda. Still gotta wire in this controller. I haven't really done much to the Honda. Just, I don't know, lost a little motivation on it when the pump was shot. So I just gotta work up a little bit of motivation, and hopefully once the warmth comes, I'm gonna really be itching to get this thing out here, because I want to drive this thing. I'm wasting all my money on gas. So anyway, I started a truck project too. I started building a subwoofer enclosure for my truck. So previously I had this subwoofer in there, which is a Sundown. It's a Sundown SA12. Awesome unit. I love this subwoofer. It sounded amazing having it in there. Just great to have a 12-inch. I had it in my single cab truck, which is what I built this custom box for. I had it designed and tuned to, I think it was like 34 hertz or something like that. And yeah, it really jammed. It sounded awesome. It's ported over here. I think it was 1 cubic foot or something like that, but or more. I think maybe it's 2 cubic feet. I don't know, maybe 1.5. I don't remember. Regardless, it's cool. It's a nice sub box. It's got a long port. Anyway, decided that I wanted my back seats back, because in the Avalanche I've just been using you know, my passenger seat. I don't have any back seats because I had that thing ratchet strapped to the seat. So basically try to alleviate that. So I'll show you guys what I'm working with now. So I also did a brake upgrade to this thing. Turns out the brakes from a 2007 through 13 calipers fit, and I think also newer calipers fit too, up until like 17 or 18. And then if you go even into the 2019 and 2020 calipers, then there's the 4-piston calipers. Those fit as well with a couple of washers. So that's like an even better brake upgrade you can do, is the 4-piston new ones. But I just went with the 7 to 13 calipers. They're not that much money, and I don't like the idea of running a washer. And then the rotors go from a 12-inch to a 13-inch. So you can see over on my dad's truck here, he's got the 12-inch rotors. You can see the braking surface on there. Very small with a 12-inch rotor. I think my brother on his Tahoe, I think that 05 or 06 was the year when they started to put the bigger brakes on, and it does look like he has the bigger brakes. So I don't know, actually they do look kind of small. I'm not sure. I have to measure his braking surface, because that looks small to me compared to mine. I think that I have, yeah, I think I have more braking surface on mine. It's hard to tell though. My dad's definitely look really small. Anyway, regardless, that's not what I was trying to show you. Just tangent. But the lowering kit came out really good, and all that's working really nice. So I had this whole thing apart recently, and I was putting a subwoofer box in here. So basically the sub box takes up the entire area in here, and you can actually see it. The wood right here, and you can see it in here too. So this whole thing is actually the sub box. You can see it's ported over here, and there is an 8-inch facing forward over here. I'll show you guys this in more detail. I gotta take it back out. This is actually my fiance's sub. I did get engaged. I don't know if I had mentioned that yet, but yeah, very exciting times. That's why I've been busy, kind of just doing life and doing training for work, and you know, just kind of filling my time with, you know, hanging out with some people and stuff like that. Got a lot going on here, and sometimes I feel like I go really hard and I just don't make time for people, or don't make time to do the things that I need to do. And this is something that I need to do. I need to make videos, and you know, show you guys all the things that I participate in that I enjoy doing. Regardless, yeah, so I'm up to doing this. I have no seat in here still, so I have to put the seat in here. But yeah, I'll talk more about this project hopefully in the next video you guys see. And that's that for now. And then as far as the bus project is still at a standstill. I'm still trying to get the title from this guy. It's been months now, and he's applied for the lost title, and we're still working on getting that from him. Hopefully any day now. We're gonna threaten legal action because at a certain point it is fraud, so he needs to give us the title. And on this, I got some guy coming today to possibly buy fenders and hood off the old Silverado, and at that point it's going to be mostly gone, and I'm just going to take the parts that I want from it and probably start cutting it up and get rid of this thing. You know, I think it's pretty much time for it to go. I'm gonna start chopping it up. But yeah, it was a good truck, but it's time to hit the road. So that's kind of where I stand on everything right now. The truck's good. Oh, I don't think I mentioned that I blew up the transmission in this. I kind of lost second gear. I was spinning the tires one day in the rain, and it was spinning pretty good, and it was trying to grab second, and it just kept banging off rev limiter, couldn't get second, and then eventually it did. And when it grabbed second, the 2.4 band kind of went and turned like this, and it actually jammed itself in the transmission to where it was like always kind of applying, but kind of just half-ass applying. Like it was right where the rivets are on the 2.4 band. If you know anything about inside of what a 4L60 looks like, the rivets are there, and it was like riding on the rivet section, all twisted in there. And so I had basically no second gear holding power. I had fourth, which was interesting. And it's responsible for holding the drum in second and fourth. So I don't know, I had like no second gear, but once I got to third I could go. And so I drove it home like that, and I drove it all the way. I drove it like 40 minutes on the highway to Middletown like that, and because I didn't know, I don't know, I was being dumb. I figured it was cooked, or I figured I broke the band and it would be fine. I didn't realize that I hadn't broke the band, I had just jammed it in there. So I did a little bit of scoring to the band, the drum rather, and the band was shot obviously because it went down just to the rivets, but only on the edges. But we changed the band. I pulled the transmission out at work one night and put it back in the same night, and then went home. So it was pretty good. I just punched out early and did that, and it worked out. My dad helped me, obviously. Working with my dad, there's perks to that. I can enlist him to help me. But yeah, so I fixed that. Anyway, there's been quite a few things that have gone on, but I'm going to try to make some videos now and do some other stuff for you guys, because got to keep the content rolling. So I'm going to throw this together, and yeah, thanks guys. Peace.